We are fortunate to live in relatively tranquil times compared to much of history. However, there is still a lot of danger and weirdness in the world. Some places might develop a reputation for being unsettling, while others are thought to be outright haunted. But you're right, those locations are typically situated very far from civilization. These tales of strange visits and sensations are ones that strike us with fear. A distressing visit or overall bizarre vibe can transform that assumption into a lie. People from all over the world have discussed their experiences in dangerous or unwelcoming towns online. Here are some stories that made our skin crawl. Before starting, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more future updates. Number 10. A Virginia town with a peculiar vibe. A few years back, I used to commute a lot for business and would frequently visit Cavington. The smell is the first thing you pick up on, although you were breathing it in. It was like to drinking hot dog water that was brought on by the nearby paper factory's pollution. There, about 20% of the population is employed by the industry. Additionally, not everything about working in a factory is happy. Therefore, it makes natural that the locals wouldn't be overly delighted to begin with. Putting that aside, I primarily used my GPS while driving. And as I approached the town, I had an uneasy feeling before I even detected the stench. It appeared as though I was being followed or watched. Naturally, nobody was. Even though I don't believe in the supernatural, that place frightened me a lot. Number 9. An unknown road in the mountains of Romania. Hiking in the Romanian mountains. Unexpectedly, I come to a paved road. Nobody knew where it led or where it came from, and it wasn't marked on any maps. There are only limitless trees around, no cities or settlements. And then, there's this spotless two-lane road that cuts through the forest. I felt genuinely uneasy because it reminded me of a creepypasta about a staircase in the woods. Number 8. Centralia, PA. Because of the fire that has been burning under Centralia, Pennsylvania, for roughly 70 years, the town is completely deserted, which makes it quite creepy to expect to see people walking through the streets. Number 7. An old Australian mining town. Old mining town Emmaville in New South Wales is still kicking. I stumbled into a strangely deserted and confusing tavern looking for a restroom and struggled to find my way out. There is a decent minerals museum there. The place grows crazier and weirder as you explore it more. It is obvious that the village didn't have power until around 1958. Additionally, there are a ton of strange, unsettling, and spooky Black Panther creatures around. It seems that there are rumors of a panther prowling the adjacent bush. Australia is not the home of panthers. Overall, it was a truly odd location that made you want to flee and made your gut tighten. Number 6. A West Virginia gas station at 3 a.m. In order to fill up my flat tire, I pulled into a petrol station. At 3 in the morning, there were folks loitering at the gas station giving the tweaker glare. Despite there being a functional payphone, one begged to use my phone. I hopped in the car and drove 10 miles down the road to a lot less dangerous truck stop where I could fill the tire back up. Number 5. A research base on the road to Vegas. I was traveling to Vegas with a friend when we stopped at this tiny hamlet in Nevada. Unbeknownst to us, it was next to a military installation that appeared to be devoted to some extremely advanced research. We had broken down at a stop sign on a road near the base because my friend's automobile wasn't exactly in fantastic shape. I'm not kidding when I say that 5 unmarked SUVs were around us in less than 3 minutes. The men who stepped out were really kind, but also very professional. They immediately got our car moving again, gave us their best wishes, and warned us kindly but firmly not to stop on that route again. Number 4. A very unfriendly town in West Virginia. Years ago, I visited a small settlement in West Virginia named Brandywine. I entered a bar and everyone immediately turned to stare at me. Some good old boys questioned me if I was looking for trouble and advised me to move on if I wasn't. A sheriff's car and 2 trucks followed me out of town as I exited the tavern. All the way out of town, the sheriff's deputy gave me a sour look. I believed I would be lynched. Number 3. A small southern town where no one wanted to talk to them. One of my best friends and my college roommate both grew up in remote areas. I believe that the town is only remained in existence because it is the final exit from a freeway that leaves our state. 250 or so inhabitants. The Deep South also has this. His hometown served as the location of his wedding. I spent the weekend there helping him prepare as I was his best man. Never felt more unwelcome anywhere. My friend was well known and had some popularity. But me, they have no interest in working with me. Only one individual that I didn't know before spoke to me at the wedding and reception. Others would smile graciously when I tried to chat to them but walk away without saying anything else. Even the preacher. Dang it. While I was delighted to support my friend, I was even happier to get out of town once that situation was over. It resembled a scene from a horror film. Number 2. A foggy little town in the Smoky Mountains. I was traveling by car across a few states with a friend. After leaving late one evening, we found ourselves searching for a petrol station early the next morning since we were running short on fuel. We took the next exit after spotting a sign indicating there was a gas station there and parked into the most unsettling small town in the Smoky Mountains. On the highway, the sky had been rather clear, but as soon as we descended into a valley, there was thick fog everywhere. This village had maybe 5 buildings total, and it appeared to be completely deserted. Even the petrol station that was advertised on the highway sign was closed. We wanted a break, so we stopped into the parking lot. When we got out to look around, the eeriness just grew because it was completely silent. The only sound I could hear besides our footsteps was absolute silence. We stood around for maybe 30 seconds before turning to each other and making the silent decision to leave immediately. Once we were in the car, we didn't even speak. Thankfully, we came upon a 24-hour truck stop a few more miles down the road. The lights and activity there were enough to jolt us out of the trance that area had placed us into, and we immediately began discussing it. My friend reported that he had observed a lone, frightening-appearing man silently passing us while strolling slowly from a distance and barely discernible through the fog. I had completely missed him. He seemed to be sending out strong feelings that said, "I will murder you, and no one will ever find the victims," but I guess I was gazing in a different way. Number 1. Bob's Burgers from Hell. In Peterborough, Ontario, my husband and I once stopped into a Wimpy's Diner, and it was the most bizarre experience we've ever had. With the father in the kitchen and his 12-year-old daughter serving tables, it was obvious that a family was running the establishment. Another younger youngster, perhaps 10 years old, was seated at the bar and was covered with a variety of bright plastic jewelry. His arms were covered in bracelets, and he wore more necklaces than Mr. T. He was staring at us the entire time and was quite slender and unsettling looking. Elvis played strangely in the background, and the entire setting was dim and gloomy. The mood was strained. The father had a sour appearance and was only flipping our hamburgers in the open kitchen. I kept yelling directions at the youngsters. We were the only ones there, so we didn't understand why he was behaving so agitated and furious. He was obviously embarrassed by his effeminate son as well, who was constantly pleading for money to put in the gumball machine, which was obviously where he got all the jewelry. The daughter hardly spoke above a whisper when taking our order, as like she was afraid of us. Like Bob's Burgers in the pit of hell, I can say that even though we eventually paid and went, we never forgot about that diner. We still bring up the location after nearly 8 years. I sincerely hope that the video for today has come to an end. What do you think about our list? Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future updates.